Hello everybody, I am the Linkzilla, and welcome back to Minecraft Kaijerica. It's been a while since the last episode, but considering that we're all basically kind of hunkering down at home thanks to the you-know-what, YouTube seriously doesn't like us mentioning it because they all want us to be completely uninformed. I really shouldn't hold that much against them. There's too much at stake right now. Anyways, it's been a while since the last video, and quite frankly, my adventures here in Kaijerica were part of the reason why I wanted to move production of YouTube over to my big desktop machine, because as I was recording the process for building this stuff over here, I basically realized that the footage was unwatchable. So, for more details about about all of that, go check out my latest Jurassic Park Minecraft video. So, anyways, you guys might notice a few new details about my setup. My mini-map has now basically been put a little bit out of the center. That's basically because my big screen monitor, which is basically just a TV that I basically have my computer hooked up to, its border basically kind of like reaches out onto the screen itself, so I can't see the edges of the screen, so I wouldn't be able to see all of the map. So I've now got this set up in a way that's like more useful for me. The only problem is that down there with the hotbar, I can't really see the bottom of it. I can make out the numbers well enough on its own, but I can't really see the durability of my items and weapons. But for things like Mjolnir here, that shouldn't be much of a problem, and that's ultimately why I have Zeus's femur. But I can easily open up the I don't know, my inventory screen and basically like see what everything's going on. So what do I have planned for this episode? Well, I think that I'll start off by giving you guys a basic tour of what is going on here. This right here is my super genetics factory machine. This thing is basically an automatic an automatic analyzer from which you can basically analyze anything from biofossils, plant fossils, tar fossils, and more importantly, tar slime. Like I've explained in previous videos, this thing is basically going to power my entire base and almost every single machine that comes from it. The process for powering up all of my machines will begin with this monstrosity. And sorry for how ugly it is and basically this useless space in between here, but literally speaking, that's the only thing I can do. And hey, I also set my auto map to basically like tell me where slime chunks are, so I don't know, this guy must have made quite the distance in order to basically be over here, but anyways, we're not going to basically deal with that right now. So how does this machine work? Well, I will show you. First, we come over here through these tunnels, and we drop down into the middle of my super tar slime farm. This is basically 4 tar slime farms all combined into one. As you guys basically saw there, we basically have the hoppers on top of 2 layers of tar, which I recovered from a swamp. All that footage has been lost now, so you're going to have to take my word for it. We covered them with hoppers. They're all basically connected to each other. All these hoppers basically feed into one corner that leads out of this machine. The water basically is flowing on top of this thing, and the tar slime spawn on top of the hoppers, where they immediately begin to drown. Once they drown, they drop their tar slimes, and as you can see from the map, those green dots moving around, those are basically the dropped items moving in from the farm into the machine. As we see over here, we've got this dropper system hooked up to a clock that's basically been spitting out tar slimes, whatever tar slime drops that it collects, and they begin being carried up this item elevator, this great glass elevator, where they get deposited into this double chest. And as you can see, I also have some tar fossils in there, so ultimately I don't really like letting this machine run because I feel like it basically I don't know, it feels kind of wasteful, but I'm going to show you guys like how it works. So, I got this hopper minecart here, and let me just As you can see, it has like items filled up in there already, but we're not going to worry about that. Basically speaking, once I push that thing up here, it's going to basically get caught on that pressure plate weighted activator rail, and the activator rail is basically being held off by this other comparator, which feeds into that comparator. This comparator is being powered by this hopper that's basically filled with roughly almost 3 stacks of items. I honestly don't know why I threw the extra string in there. Maybe I accidentally killed a spider on top of it. I don't know. Anyways, basically speaking, the hopper minecart will not move. Basically, like, the activator rail will not be able to activate that comparator to turn off that redstone torch in order to basically deactivate this sticky piston, removing the fence post, allowing the cart to move until the minecart is filled up with a comparable amount of items as this hopper here. This design is basically based heavily off of Mumbo Jumbo's design that he used in Season 6 of Hermitcraft. I've been trying to basically, like, find ways to basically kind of compact this stuff, but so far I haven't been able to. And you guys will basically get an example of that in a minute, but let me just show you a test run of this thing, alright? We send it up there. It now begins filling up with items, so as you can see, it's filling up fast. And we saw some tar slimes going up. Maybe I put the string in there to slow it down, and there it goes. And as you can see, as every single analyzer comes on, the entire thing lights up. And I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to send it back. So, basically speaking, like, I don't want to basically, like, have this thing running because I basically have so many resources that my pipes are actually getting kind of clogged. So, as you can see, analyzing tar slimes produces tar fossils. Now, as we follow along the rail, the line of hoppers that all feed into each other, the tar fossils get taken here, where they get filtered out, and they basically taken back along this line and get filtered back into the machine here. Now, basically speaking, this was the only way that I could actually figure out how to make it work. As for the other items, basically speaking, items like bone meal, which gets processed from analyzing tar fossils, they basically get filtered out through here. And other things like volcanic brick get filtered out through... They're not worth killing. Through here. As you can see, we got volcanic bricks feeding in there. These two are just temporary hoppers that I use to get them out of line. These are the hoppers that I'm funneling all the Ice Age DNA into. But those, basically like the blocks and the bone meal, they basically get funneled into that hopper, and they get sent on this water stream to the item elevator. And they get sent up where they get stored in their own individual boxes. And here's the bad news. I've had this machine running for so long that my double chests intended for the friggin' bone meal are now fully loaded up. So I need to basically get to work on making the next machine that this thing is going to feed into. What's that machine going to be? Well, as you also saw, analyzing both tar slimes and tar fossils also produces coal, which gets filtered out through here. The only problem is, as you can clearly tell, that's it. Jesus fucking Christ, they're annoying. As you can see, the hoppers for my coal are literally all filled up, which means that whatever coal is still in the system will basically run around this lap continuously forever until I find a way to friggin' empty out these hoppers. So, the hoppers basically were feeding into what was meant to be a temporary series of chests, but As you can see, they are filling up very fast. So basically, the next logical step is to build the next machine to build is obviously going to be the Super Schmelter, which basically is going to have a design similar to this. Unfortunately, it's going to need to be twice as large and honestly twice as grotesque. Now, I'm going to basically head on over to my planning field right now and show you guys the process, so I will see you guys over there. I've got an arrow in the neck. Alright, as you can see, I basically tried to test out some preliminary designs. This was a design that I considered going with because basically I figured that, this would be a design that, I guess would mitigate space and whatnot, but I think the big problem with these machines is that unless you have something to take the items out and funnel them somewhere else, you're basically going to get caught in them. And unfortunately, it looks like this is the design that I'm going to have to go with, and it's so friggin' grotesque because of how wide it is. These machines are basically designed to waste space. The thing about it is, I didn't just want to build these things in one straight line going straight across the way. I wanted them to basically kind of wrap around and have a modicum of efficiency, you know what I'm saying? I tried to basically, get it to where they could be as efficient as possible with the furnaces facing outwards so that the machines basically meant to feed said hoppers would go inside on the inside and whatnot, but unfortunately there wasn't enough room to actually build the device. I tried the same thing over here and over here, which I realized once again there was not enough room to build said devices. This is basically the device that I need in order to get these things to function, and I need two of them. And unfortunately, I tried to mirror the design over here, and, well, let me put it this way. This is the line that basically feeds in the fuel for the hoppers, and the minecart comes around and basically has to go down there before basically getting refueled back up here. This, however, is the block where the comparator has to go, and because the minecart is coming from this direction, it stops once it hits that block. If it were coming from this direction, it would easily be able to go up that block, but that's just not the world that we're living in, is it? So anyways, this is going to be... It's actually going to be a bit of a headache to actually kind of build, because I don't know. I guess I'm really just not all that much of a redstone guy or a builder in Minecraft, so what the hell am I? Anyway, we'll get back to it on Kaijerica, so we'll see you over there. Right, I'm thinking that this should be plenty of space. It's going to be, right up against this glass thing. Who am I kidding? Truth be told, I'm not really much of a aesthetic builder, and I honestly think that the redstone is a lot cooler, having efficient machines that basically can do such work for you. I honestly think that that's a lot cooler and efficient than having basically having stuff that looks pretty. Even though I like aesthetically pleasing stuff, it's not all that high on my priorities. Just need a few stones. Because I've heard that basically, having open hoppers can basically lag your game and whatnot. But I should have mitigated that by now because effectively I have allocated a whole lot more RAM to playing Minecraft on my new machine. It's been so long since I've had to do that because I haven't basically played Minecraft on anything but my laptop, which I've had for more than 5 years at this point. 6. So anyways, I've basically gathered up all the materials that I'm going to need to build this monstrosity, and I'm going to make sure that it's 32 one way and 32 the other way. So we're basically going to do that in a time lapse so that you guys basically don't get bored of basically listening to me talk. So I will see you guys once this thing is basically done. At least maybe the preliminary for it, because part of me wants to consider basically building the device first, and that's just to basically get an idea of where everything has to be. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's get to it. Okay, so we're back and we are up here on the surface. Now let's basically just head on down to the lab and see the progress that I've made. As you basically can, well, see over here, I made a whole lot more progress than I ended up recording because I wanted to basically get the item elevator for the coal. Now it took a whole lot of effort because basically beyond that wall is the tar slime. Now, I don't know if I explained this to you guys, but working with tar is very, very difficult because for some reason, tar does not work like lava or water does, even though they basically relatively share a lot of the same physics. For example, you know how basically you have flowing water or flowing lava, all you need to do is put a block down in front of it and stop that? Well, tar doesn't work like that. Basically speaking, when tar spreads, it friggin' spreads. Literally speaking, do not ever let tar spread past the source block, because when it does, you will not be able to stop it. For some reason, when tar begins to flow, you cannot place a block down in that block to cut off the flowing tar. The only way that you can actually cut it off from that point is to place down a block in front of it to prevent it from spreading to any other blocks, then use a piston to push that block into place. Pretty sure that that was explained in like an episode that I've done earlier, but at this point, I don't care. So, anyways, I basically set up this item elevator that's going to take the coal from the super analyzer and feed it into this item elevator, which will then go into the fuel chest. Now, basically speaking, I remembered why I have more than 64 items over here. It's because I noticed that during a test run of this thing, even though it might have not filled up with the last 13 or so items, maybe the hopper minecart works too fast and whatnot. Anyway, the last 13 furnaces were not filled up with coal, and then when I checked it again, it did fill up with those 13 coal. So I'm thinking that putting in just another bit, maybe 1/4 of the original, will basically create enough of a time charge to allow an entire stack of 64 coal in order to fill up the hopper minecart with. So Let's test it out, shall we? Okay, we've got our hopper minecart. We're going to save that for a bit because first we're going to come down here. I have this kill switch on because I don't want the machine to get overwhelmed. Like, literally speaking, the first few bits of coal were flying in so fast that they actually started bouncing out of the pipe. And basically, like, I demolished all those chests over there, and as you can see, the hoppers of my super analyzer are absolutely choked with coal. So, it's going to be quite a long time before this thing is completely filled up. I think that there might legitimately be enough coal to literally fill every single one of these 32 furnaces. Okay, so we're going to flip this switch, and then we're going to scream. They're going up. They're depositing into the chest. I should probably cover this, but I'm going to basically hold off on covering it. But as you can see, basically, so long as we keep a steady supply of tar slime drops, tar drops, whatever they're called, feeding into this analyzer, and we get a steady supply of tar fossils from that, we'll basically have a perpetual supply of coal, which will then feed into this thing, which will basically be a perpetual supply of fuel, basically for all of my smelting needs. I even lost my genitalia in an unfortunate smelting accident. I think we're going to wait for, like, at least a few more stacks to basically get filled up, and then we'll test out whether or not, basically, like, all the hoppers, what the hopper minecart gets its due. I just now basically thought of something because, well, the trick of doing it is that you're meant to basically put the minecart on this rail and then push it forward, but considering that I now have a block on top of that, or I could just basically do it the way that I usually do it. I'll just do it like that. No reason to complicate anything. Okay, so as you can see, this is not pretty, and I'm kind of slightly bothered by that. Only kind of slightly because it's like, yeah, it's not aesthetically pleasing to look at, but if it functions, it functions. Now, the thing about it is, I'm going to have another hopper item elevator in order to lift up into this machine in order to basically feed in, like, the stuff, but I don't think that I'll need an elevator so much as I'll just need a water stream, because the idea that I have for it is that over here is my branch mine, and I intend to basically build some kind of chest that's going to basically feed into one of these water streams that's going to take all of my schmeltable materials, and it's going to drop them off in here. So basically speaking, like, you get pretty much anything. You get pretty much all that stuff, and, well, and then basically after that, I'm also going to need another item system that's basically going to carry in things like dirt, gravel, and sand that I get while I'm down here, and that will feed into the gigantic sifter machine that I'm going to build going in this direction. Man, that's gonna be a tight fit. Oh, it must be your first time because you are tight. And here's where the big problem comes in. The fact that over here... maybe it's not gonna be a problem. I'm still thinking that it is gonna be yep. Up there is the spawner for the cave spiders. Now, you might just be thinking, well, get rid of the spawner then. Basically, I was thinking about doing that, especially considering that I have that spider spawner over there, but I'm basically thinking that those things are, like, so far away that it's just going to be tedious. Why not just make an XP farm out of that spider spawner? So I gotta make sure that I have adequate room for it, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it'll basically, like, come down to whether or not, like, I need to basically, like, cut my item flow through this. And as you can see, I still haven't laid down the hoppers that are going to be receiving all my schmeltables yet, because the idea is once they're all schmelted, they will basically be fed into this item elevator that will take it back up to the top. Originally, they were supposed to have their own item elevator, but I figured that it would just be easier to jerry-rig it to where all the hoppers feed back into this machine, and that they could basically be deposited down there as well. And I think that basically, like, since roughly everything down here is going to be fed, I'm not going to basically, like, have the stuff from this feed back into the perpetual loop that these machines are going to have, then there's no point in basically using filters. All the filters are up there, so it's going to be messy and it's going to be chaotic, but it'll be worth it. So we've got, like, several stacks of chests, and that cave spider seriously followed me. You are a tenacious little bugger. I'm going to call you Tenacious D, because you're a dick. So, anyway, let's load in our mine cart. And we're going to watch. I probably shouldn't be standing on the track, but it's the only position that I could get in that was good enough. Okay, so we definitely know it's got more than a stack, so as long as it basically carries out its entire mission. Come on, give me a 2, give me a 2, give me a 2. Yes! All of the hoppers. All of the furnaces are being filled. I might as well just let this keep on running, because basically, like, so long as it basically, like, fills up, it'll basically, like, take care of every single one of these furnaces. I've basically got 64 furnaces here, and each one can basically contain 64 64 articles of fuel, but they also have hoppers attached to them, which can also give them more. And I basically had like 4 double chests worth of fuel already installed, so holy shit, this thing is basically filled up again, which means that I'm gonna have to start letting it go again. So the only thing that I don't want is basically to have this stuff be filled up so much so quickly that it overwhelms the system. Go away. Seriously, you are the lesser of the 2 spiders. You do not want any of what I am. I just love how it still lights up. Like, that's basically why I haven't lit this entire area up yet. But I'm looking forward to the day where I can completely seal up the floor. You know, it's ironic because basically, like, I started watching other Minecraft YouTubers to get ideas on what to do for Minecraft for this channel. And one of the things I've now taken accustomed to watching is Hermitcraft. From there you could basically see some of like your favorite Minecraft YouTubers participating in Hermitcraft, like Mumbo Jumbo, the guy who inspired me to build all these complex redstone stuff, and his buddy, a guy named Grian, who is better at building more aesthetically pleasing stuff. Grian tried to make one of these, and he was having the same problem that I was having up on the surface, so I actually left a comment telling him about the problem and telling him to try replacing the top line of hoppers with a minecart rail and a hopper minecart. So I hope that he takes my advice, and I hope that he gives me a shout out in the next video. I mean, video probably like whenever he gets around to fixing it, so So, as we can see, the machines are going, and this is one thing that I was always worried about, because for some reason, this one isn't getting any coal. Why? Is it because it's right next to the powered minecart rail? Because that rail technically doesn't need to be there. It's already basically going to go off for its own momentum, I think. That's the thing that I need to keep reminding myself as the fact that hoppers in and of themselves are redstone. So they basically, you gotta basically treat them like redstone in a lot of ways. They basically receive redstone signals from virtually anything around them. The only problem is that, like, with the amount of coal that I've got through this system, it's going to have to go through the coal first before all that hopper goodness stuff. And I'm going to run out of space with the DNA over there. I'm actually thinking that I might just junk that DNA because I clearly don't need it at the moment. I'm really worried about doing this because touching virtually anything could basically break the system. Just kill yourself already. You see? It's amazing how that hopper can pick up stuff like under that was broken underneath it. Well, it did fall on top of it all, so. Oh god, what did I do now? Oh god, what did I do now? I am breaking everything. The worst part about it is that this thing is basically like a friggin' spaghetti monster. You can't friggin' get into it. Okay, I'm putting down this block right here so that basically this block will know not to interact. This upcoming rail will interact with that rail. Damn it! God fucking damn it! First things first, I'm going to check to make sure that I'm placing that in the facing the right direction. Right, it goes into the torch, right? Alright, that should solve one problem. Alright. Now, gently. Come on. Oh, crap, I forgot. Okay, so leave that there. I need to go get at least one more rail. Okay, that should do it. What do you think, Gimli? That will do it! Oh, I need one more rail again. God, I really hope that it doesn't try to interact with that rail. It shouldn't, because that line of rail is done. Cross your fingers, people, because I have a feeling that I'm about to scream so loud and start ripping my hair out. Yes! Oh, thank God, I'm not going to be bald. Now, really rather not friggin' have to... screw it. Where'd the carpet go? Where's the carpet, Smee? There it is. I'm gonna have to get rid of this carpet anyway when I install the hoppers. Didn't think about that, did you, genius? Okay, so... Yank. Yank. I'm just gonna basically like put the 12 in here in order to put this one on equal footing with the others, just to basically make sure, you know? Alright, now I'm gonna turn the system back on. I think that I'm gonna slow this down now because it had to have made a dent. Yep, see? That's how fast this thing goes through materials and whatnot. And now my pipes are getting so clogged that my machines can no longer compensate. Two, one. Come on, give me 14. Yes! Oh! Oh no. You see, that's why I basically had the powered rail. Oh man, is it going to affect these ones as well? Looks like I need to make them longer, because if that's happening here, then it's most likely happening here too. I thought I turned you off. Get in there. Yep, it's definitely happening in there too. That's one machine that's basically never been working. So I'll probably take care of that in MC Edit. But for now, I think that basically like we can do a test run of the actual smelting unit. So just gonna grab another minecart. I'm gonna go up to the surface and get it like a stack or so of basically like schmeltable items. A few more. Then we go back down to the lab. Come on. Oh man, I forgot to grab extra plant seeds. Hard to believe I'm running out of junk items. Alrighty. Load that up in there. I'm just now realizing that it's not going to basically work because really should basically take care of that, so and not only do I have to move all that back, I have to move all of this back as well. That is going to be a colossal pain in my ass. And let's just try it. It can't be just me. It's almost like this game is literally trying to piss me off. I think I'm just going to leave that there for now, because basically it's just not worth it to have to fix that every now and then. And now, gonna send it on its way. And if it slows down, I'll just give it a little nudge. Man, those things fill up fast. I could offset the slowness by basically just... Yep, you see? Because these basically got too many items because they lingered for too long. I could offset the slowness by basically like having a powered minecart rail and basically having the power source be powered above, but actually, you know what? Why don't I just do that? It's stupid that I don't do that. And I'll finally know if they actually do affect it, so... Get out of there. I gotta have something to burn down here. Well, I could basically smelt that into regular stone, but... Well, looks like I'm going back up. Well, seems to work. Now I just need to basically find some stuff to burn in it. So, anyways, I'm pretty sure that I've bored you guys for long enough, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a comment on the comment section below. Show like and share with your friends. You want to keep up to date with more Minecraft Kaijerica updates coming at you in the future, then be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. And I'm just going to say one thing. I'm almost a little bit relieved that the countdown to eternity is finally over. Now I can go back to doing other things besides ripping and tearing. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.